Pardon?
Are you doing your news piece?
Just having a look at your cars now, really. Just saw his PC was idling up there, and I figured she was going to be coming out in a second. So, yeah, just waiting for... Oh, my days. Hang on, so we got an inspector, a PC?
Yeah.
PC? Inspector. So we've got 4 police officers for a man with a camera.
Right.
But it's quite intimidating, isn't it, having 4 people come out?
Well, there's private vehicles there as well as vehicles that are unmarked.
Sure, but
I'm just wondering what your purpose
but it's quite
is.
intimidating having 4 officers come out and accost somebody with a camera.
You're here on police premises.
Yeah, but like 4 people.
We need to establish whether there's a security issue.
Okay.
So, do you want to talk to me about what you're here for? I've got no issue with you filming, but as I've said, there's private vehicles.
Yeah, it's not my intention to get those. If they're in the background of a shot, they're in the background of a shot. But I'm not here to. I'm not
doing a news piece. Do you want an interview? I'll talk to you if you'd like to have an interview.
Not particularly. No, just want to have a look around. That's all. Just like to look around.
I saw you obviously trying to walk around there. So I was just wondering.
You should be careful with the information that you say like that, because I wasn't trying to walk around there at all.
The first moments reveal everything. For officers led by an inspector, march directly toward the auditor in a straight line. No hesitation, no assessment, no pause to observe, just immediate intervention. The inspector begins with a soft opener, claiming she has no problem with filming, but quickly plants a hook. There are private vehicles in the car park. It's a calculated shift, creating a frame where anything the auditor does next can be spun as an issue. Right on cue, her colleague escalates matters. With confidence, she asserts that she saw the auditor attempt to enter the private car park. That's not a neutral description. It's an accusation. Was he close to the line? Yes. Did he cross it? No. But here lies the trick. Imply intent, and suspicion becomes justification. Grounds to intervene are manufactured instantly. Suspicion crafted in real time.
I was stood there for a good 4 minutes watching you in your vehicle, and I saw the sign saying no unauthorised access. So don't tell me that I was trying to walk places where I wasn't. Be careful with things like that.
Have you got the footage that you need?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
Okay, but I'd like you to leave, because as I've said, there are private vehicles there, that you've got some footage. You've got enough. There's nothing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the footage that I was getting was actually interrupted by the PC stopping and coming out. But so I'll probably wait around to see if any more vehicles come in or out. See if I can get one on blue lights.
You didn't do that, because as I've said, there's private cars coming in and out. Officers don't want you recording them coming and going from duty, because that presents a potential security risk.
Well, they shouldn't drive to work then, really, should they? If they're that concerned.
You have no business to film the private areas that are off limit to the public.
I have every business to film anything that's visible from a public area.
But my point is, you shouldn't be going up there, which is what you've done.
I haven't gone past the signage where your signage is. It doesn't say the signage. The signage is the signage here saying that I can't go further than this, or is the signage there saying I can't go further than that?
Twice, the inspector leans on a phrase "private vehicles" as if it carries special authority. A magic rule that somehow overrides established public rights. The reality is simple. The cars are irrelevant. They are visible from a public space, which makes filming them perfectly lawful. Yet the repeated phrase creates the impression the auditor is in a place he shouldn't be, softening the ground for her next move. You've got enough footage. That isn't legislation. It's simply her imposing a limit, because she says so. From there, she flows straight into her colleague's false narrative, warning the auditor he shouldn't proceed further. But she hasn't seen him cross any boundary, nor even check the signage herself. Instead, she adopts the accusation and delivers it with misplaced authority. The auditor, however, knows the layout better. He points out the obvious. The restricted zone begins further ahead. He hasn't crossed it, and the law supports him.
My personal use, public interest.
Well, my personal vehicle is there, and I'm asking you, from me to you as a private individual, I'm not comfortable with you violating my personal space.
It's not your personal space. It's
my vehicle there, my private vehicle is there, and I'm not comfortable with you filming that.
Well, if you hadn't announced that it was your private vehicle, nobody would ever have known.
I'm telling you it is, so
no, you are
I'm
doing now.
You to stop. Yeah,
well, I'm not going to. It's in a public area.
In which case, you'll have to be removed to prevent the breach of the peace, because you are.
How am I breaching the peace? Do you know what the threshold is for breach of the peace?
You already have enough footage, so I'm asking you to leave.
Okay.
You're creating these officers aren't able to get on with their policing duties.
The inspector's response in this moment is nothing short of astonishing. She declares, "My personal vehicle is there, and I'm asking you, from me to you, as a private individual." I'm not comfortable with you violating my personal space. The phrase personal space instantly jumps out, but in this context, it makes little sense. She is standing in uniform while on duty, referring not to her driveway or home, but to a police car park owned by the force and clearly visible from a public vantage point. Legally, there is no such thing as personal space over property you do not own and cannot lawfully shield from public view. The auditor wastes no time, cutting directly through her attempt by reminding her it is not her personal space at all. Instead of acknowledging this, she doubles down, insisting she is not happy with her vehicle being filmed. The irony is striking. Had she not drawn attention to it, nobody watching would have known which vehicle belonged to her. By making the connection herself, she turned something anonymous into something personal. That is not a privacy breach by the auditor. It is a tactical mistake by her. Then she escalates, threatening removal under breach of the peace, twisting law to justify discomfort.
Individuals, as I was getting on with a matter that's of concern to the community, and I've got an individual on police premises filming not only the police cars coming and going, but officers arriving for duty and leaving again. That causes me a concern.
So you're working on conjecture there, because I have specifically said that that is not my intention.
I've said to you, you're causing me a concern. So
Okay.
I'd like you to leave.
Well, you're concerned. Do you police by your feelings in this country, or do you police by what the law is?
I'd like you to leave.
Do you police by
I'd
what?
like you to leave.
Do you police by what the law is, or do you police
I'm
by?
gonna get the officers to take you away because you are not.
Am I in a public place?
There are officers having private conversations about cases in the backyard of the police station.
Well, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be
you
having
are-
that conversation in that sort of place.
But you shouldn't be there within the scope of being able
I can
to
be.
film this.
Do you know you can film anything you can see from a public place in the UK?
Okay.
Is this a public place?
This is a public place.
There you go. So if I can
you
film
are-
it,
let me put it a different way. If you stand at the end of my driveway at home, which
Sure.
is a public place, repairable at public expense,
Sure.
and you film into my window, is that acceptable?
is this your home? Do you live here? Do you sleep here?
But these are private premises. Beyond this line here, you are filming from a public into a private space. Is that
Okay.
permitted?
The auditor repeats, calmly and firmly, that he is in a public place. In response, the inspector tries to unsettle him with a familiar hypothetical. If you stood at the end of my driveway at home, which is public, and filmed into my window, would that be acceptable? At first glance, it sounds clever, but the comparison is fundamentally flawed. Filming into the windows of a private residence can raise real privacy concerns under Section 1 of the Protection from Harassment Act, or, in certain contexts, the Data Protection Act. But this isn't a private home. It's a police station, an operational workplace of a public body, funded by taxpayers. There is no expectation of domestic privacy here. The auditor spots the weakness instantly. Is this your home? Do you live here? The questions cut through the analogy and expose its emptiness. The law treats the privacy of a residence very differently from that of a workplace. She tries to recover, insisting this is private premises. You are filming from public into private. Technically true, yet meaningless. Anything visible from a lawful public vantage point can be filmed. Her driveway scenario isn't a legal principle. It's a red herring, shifting the discussion from law to emotion.
Absolutely not.
Of course it
No.
is.
So you can stand on my road and film me in my home, can you?
If your curtains are open, then legally, yes, I can.
So
If I continue to do it repeatedly, then you could potentially take action about harassment. But at this point, I've been here once only, to come and get some footage. I want to.
Just on footage for a couple of minutes and then you can leave.
No,
please.
you don't put a time. You don't put a time limit on my
I do put a
rights.
time limit on you, and I'm telling you.
Do you know what
now,
Article 10 is of the
you are-
Human Rights Act?
You are causing me personally harassment and alarm by filming here.
Go talk to Lord Justice Bean about it. The police have a much higher threshold.
To leave and then you're going to go.
No,
Otherwise
I'm
you'll
not.
Be arrested.
I'm not.
Sure you're-
Arrest me?
Yes,
You're going
be
to arrest me.
arrested.
You'll be hearing from my
Absolutely.
solicitors, and you'll be having a civil suit on your hands.
Okay,
Arrest me for
give
what?
me solicitors'
What are you going
details
to
and
arrest me
no,
for?
You are causing a nuisance.
What are you
here.
going to arrest me for?
Either public nuisance or harassment.
Public nuisance.
Yeah.
So under the new legislation that came with the public. So
You've got your opportunity to film.
So
I'd like you to not film or certainly delete anything that has details of my personal vehicle or that of any of the police officers there, and then I want you to go. All right?
you don't put a time limit on my rights.
From getting on with
No,
the
I'm exercising my rights here, and you don't put a time limit on that, Inspector. Inspector what? Blackwell? Thank you.
No, are you all right with me? Yeah, go and do it.
Yeah, see, I'm obviously not that much of a concern because you're allowing them to go about their business, yet you're threatening to arrest me. Tyrants here at Stamford.
The inspector's final move before retreating back into the station is one of pure threat, delivered with nothing to back it up. She turns to the auditor and declares, "You've got 2 minutes, then you're going to go." The auditor refuses, standing calmly and firmly in his lawful position. His refusal does not breach any law, nor does it amount to disorderly behavior. Yet, rather than de-escalate, she raises the stakes with a more serious warning, or else you're going to be arrested for being a public nuisance. And that is the moment where her entire facade collapses. Public nuisance is not some vague, catch-all offense that officers can throw at anyone they want removed from a public space. In law, it is a very specific and serious offense, historically tied to acts that create significant risks to life, obstruct public rights, or cause widespread harm to the community at large. Since 2022, public nuisance has even been codified as a statutory offense under Section 78 of the Police, Crime, Sentencing, and Courts Act. Even in its modern form, it requires evidence of substantial harm or a real and tangible risk of harm to the public. Someone quietly standing in a lawful location, filming what is visible from that location, does not come remotely close to meeting that legal threshold. By threatening arrest under this law, the inspector was not applying the law correctly. She was attempting to frighten the auditor into giving up his rights. It was misuse of authority, pure and simple. Chief Inspector John Shields' later response is just as revealing, and not in a good way. Instead of acknowledging the clear problems in Inspector Blackwell's behavior, he opens by justifying her actions. He insists she was quite within her rights to ask what the auditor was doing. At face value, that point is fair. Asking questions is entirely legitimate. But Shields' reasoning quickly falls apart once you look at the bigger picture. The inspector didn't simply ask questions. She went much further. She fabricated claims about the auditor's movements, suggesting he had tried to enter restricted areas when the footage showed otherwise. She invoked the idea of personal space over a police car park, which was not hers to claim. She attempted to use a misleading analogy about a private driveway and a family home to justify restrictions that did not apply. Most seriously, she threatened arrest for public nuisance, even though the circumstances in no way justified such an accusation. None of these actions fall within the scope of quite within her rights. Shield admits, in passing, that there were times the auditor was not on police property, yet he then suggests that simply filming toward police premises may well cause concern. That statement is deeply problematic. Concern is not a legal standard. Concern is subjective. One person may be concerned by filming, while another may not. Unless concern is tied to reasonable suspicion of an actual offense, it carries no legal weight whatsoever. In this case, no offense was committed, and no reasonable suspicion could be established. Shields sidesteps this fundamental point entirely. Instead, he echoes the same hollow justification often heard from frontline officers, merely dressed up in the more polished language of senior command. The most disappointing part of Shields' response comes when he declares that he does not believe the inspector acted unprofessionally. The footage proves otherwise. Professionalism in policing is not just about avoiding raised voices, insults, or obvious aggression. True professionalism requires applying the law correctly, avoiding baseless threats, and ensuring that personal feelings do not shape official decisions. Inspector Blackwell failed on all 3 counts. She claimed personal space over property she did not own. She leaned on a flawed driveway analogy that had no legal relevance. She issued threats of arrest for an offense that clearly did not apply. And yet, despite the clear evidence available, Shield chose to rubber stamp her behavior. This is the deeper problem with internal reviews and complaints processes. They are not designed to hold officers accountable in any meaningful way. More often than not, they exist to protect the badge rather than protect the public. Shields' conclusion that no further action was required ignored the obvious breaches of judgment and conduct caught on camera. If the standard is now that an inspector can misuse legal terminology, invent baseless threats of arrest, blur person discomfort with official authority, and still be considered professional, then the system is not about accountability at all. It is about closing ranks. The footage shows what the official response tried to deny. This was not measured policing. It was misuse of authority from start to finish. By defending it, Chief Inspector Shield did more than let an inspector off the hook. He showed the public exactly how little the complaints process is willing to challenge its own officers, and that in the long run is even more damaging than the original misconduct itself.